Okay guys, Super Dave back with you here on Subi. So I was going to go into a little bit more depth on what I've done to the engine and exactly what's into it and give you a little bit some better photo on it. But we got an emergency situation here. Block heater has sprung a leak on me once again. I'll go into that here a little bit more down the road. But right now, here we go again. Alright guys, first thing I noticed here is I just barely plugged it in. All night it was not plugged in and nothing dripped. I plug it in, 30 minutes later we got drops on the ground. So I don't know how well you can see that. So other thing I noticed here is radiator is toasty on the top. And when I open up the top of the radiator, it is hot. And you can see it, I don't know if you can see it steaming, but it's kind of like percolating like a coffee pot. It's kind of weird that it gets that hot. But I'm going to start it up and let's get it warmed up. Let's see if we can find where this leak is. So guys, I got Subi up and running here to let it warm up so we can check this out and see what's going on. And this is what we got after it's up and running. So we need to find where this is leaking from. Okay folks, I don't really see, when I first climbed down here I didn't really see too much, but as you can see I've had to modify this to make it fit, because it comes with 2-inch adapters on the heater and it's only 1.5 inches. So what I did is use some exhaust pipe and cut them both down on both ends from 2 inch to 1.5 inches, and then sleeved over that and got my hose in between it. But in some of them I've had to double clamp, and it already has leaked twice on me because I tried to use the right stuff to seal it up and it didn't like antifreeze, ate it up. So I put JB weld on it, and that will, the temperature rating's 500 degrees on that. Just trying to see here, because this is wet and it was coming down from this hose right here. I know it's a little hard to see here guys, I'm trying to get you a better angle, but it was running off the top of this hose right here and coming down here and running up underneath the heater. That heater's hot, but of course it ain't plugged in anymore. But it makes me kind of wonder if it's leaking right here or on this clamp. If maybe I need to double clamp that on the bottom radiator hose to the radiator. So let's go up top. We'll see what we can do there. Okay, so now I want to try and see if I can't take this overflow bottle off and take a look down there and see what if we can get a better look down in there. This is just 2 bolts up here that hold this tank on. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And guys, I'm sure everybody knows this. Do not open that do not open your radiator cap when there's pressure. Easy way to find out if there is to check this top radiator hose. If it's real hard, you do not open that cap, because you don't want to take a 200-degree shower at least. Okay, I think what I'm finding out here is it looks like it is coming out of this clamp right here. Because when I squeeze it, it looks like it's coming out of the fibers. That's crazy. Let's see if I can tighten up this clamp here a little. That's absolutely ridiculous. If you guys knew the time I've spent on this heater, probably tell me to give up on it. To be honest with you. But this pipe right here is so short because of the bend right here that I can't double clamp it, but that's definitely wet. Well, snap. Snap, snap, snap. Well, let's think I'm gonna have to drain it down, move that clamp around, at least give it some time to get rid of the pressure. Maybe I can do something a little different. Maybe we ought to try that first. Alright, so I don't know if anybody caught this in the last video, but this little bracket right here, if anybody knows what that is a deadbolt lock for a house. I got these two pieces out of the junkyard, and because they weren't here when I bought the car, and I think maybe they fit a little bit different type of power steering pump, so it didn't quite reach here. Everything else was great, but this right here just doesn't quite reach. So I made a little bracket for that, so we're going to take care of that too while we're waiting for this to cool down. Alright guys, let's get this off. Of course, it's relatively simple. A couple 10mm bolts. Piece of cake. Then I did make a nice little bracket for this out of some aluminum to look better than this. That's what I had handy at the time. So here's our bracket that I made. Just kind of need to drill us out some holes. Now let's see how it's going to sit. Okay, that looks pretty decent. Right there. And right there. Pretty straightforward. Alright, I'll go drill these out and we'll get them back on. Alright guys, a couple holes drilled. Let's see how she fits. Okay, this one goes in here. This one goes here. I did it right. Oh yeah, money. No surprise there. That's why they call me Super Dave. Just kidding. Pretty easy stuff, guys. Okay, let's get this tightened back up. Try to make sure it looks nice and straight. Alright, that looks better than a bracket from the door striker. Alright, I'm back. Let's see if we can't loosen this clamp up here a little. And what I'm going to try and do is slide the hose back and clamp it right on the end of the hose rather than back here, because it's kind of flaring out over this. Got a drain bucket here just in case. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted to do. And then I move this clamp. I do have a drain bucket under here just in case. And once again, you could do this with regular hand tools too, a screwdriver or a 5/16 socket and a ratchet. But this makes life a little easier. Now, hey, that wasn't so bad. Hopefully that will work. Okay. All right. Hopefully we got her fixed. Bing, bang, boom. All right. And one thing I wanted to talk about too is if you own a Subaru, this funnel is a basic need. Because now we got to make sure there's no air in the system. And already it's coming up there. And I'm just kind of purging, squeezing the top radiator hose to try and get any air out. The very first one, it got a nice big old air bubble, but didn't have camera video running at that time. Let's check our heater hoses next. Let's see. It's very hard to believe these systems. Now, I do also want to put in, see if I can't get a view back here for you. Down in here where the heater hoses are, there's a couple companies now that make them, but they're aftermarket hose kits. There's a plug-in. It's hard, you can't see it from up here. I'd have to show you from down below, which is impossible at this time. That comes out of the head, back of the head on the driver's side, and taps in to, I do believe it's this one right here, this heater hose. There's this one and this one, and it helps cool this back of the head because water tends to get stagnant back in here. This is the first cylinder that goes bad. The rear cylinder on the driver's side, from what I've learned. This by the way is the first Subaru I've ever owned, guys. But engine's an engine, and they all work basically on the same principle. And next video I'm going to go all through everything that I've done to this engine. Let's see here if we can't get some RPMs up. And this is me squeezing this top radiator hose again. Get this air out of the system. Because how I first noticed this is the other day I was going to work, and it was gurgling on me in the heater core in behind the dash. And that's the easiest way to tell that something's wrong. And it's usually the head gasket or you got a leak. Fortunately, it wasn't the head gaskets because I just replaced them with the best ones you can buy for these engines at this time. But let's see if we can't get some air to come out. I don't think she went that low on me. Oh, there's a couple little ones. Then, like I was saying, it started gurgling on me the other day, but then a day or two before that, when I was sitting at a light going to work, my main cooling fan came on, and I thought that was kind of odd because it's like 25 degrees outside. It's got to get pretty warm for them fans to come on, especially when you're moving down the road. So I think that takes care of this. I don't see no air coming out at this point. Had a little bit, but not bad, but it didn't run It wasn't super low, maybe a quart. Just want to double check, because it's not a good sign when you got your heater core gurgling. One thing also I wanted to mention underneath here, guys, is, I don't know if you can see that, but, and this really irks me, is you got an engine oil leak in the back of the engine. And I knew better, but at the time money was really tight with everything going on this year. And because I started this in the springtime, maybe a little bit before that, pulling this engine and stuff all out, but there's a cover. You think it's going to be your rear main seal. I know a lot of people have talked about this in Subaru forums. I'm just going to give it a brief view, a brief breezing over. A lot of times you think it's the rear main seal in the engine, when actually there's a little cover that sits right back there by the rear main seal that it actually accesses the wrist pins, because you can't split the block with the pistons hooked up to the connecting rods. And the PCB system also goes right up through there. Well, that cover is just plastic, and they get warped and get hot when they get hot, and then they leak, which is exactly what's happened again. The cover didn't seem warped to me, and I put some good RTV, because they don't make a gasket for it. You use RTV with it. Some good black 3M and Permatex, and it sprung a leak. So she will definitely be coming out to get that fixed when it warms up. Luckily, this is pretty simple engine to pull. You can pull it in probably 3-4 hours. When you got new exhaust, which is relatively easy to get off, and everything is fairly new and nice and easy to get off, and then hook it up and she'll come right out. Piece of cake. Alright guys, with that being said, let me see here. We've been running now for about a half an hour. I don't see any leaks, so I think I got that finally tackled. Okay guys, got a little bonus footage here today with you. My wife's van here, 2003 Chevy Venture minivan, keeps having this brake light problem, so we're going to try and take care of that again. And I'll show you what the problem is here once I get it out. So here we go. Okay guys, there's a couple Torx head screws here that you need to get out to get this light out. I've already been in here 3 times, and let's see if it is the bulb. Where did that screw go? Oh, here it is. Okay guys, now we got it out here. There's these clips on the back right here. It's kind of a nightmare to get it out or get it unplugged. So let's see. You set you down here. The problem I've noticed with this van is everything seems to be cheaply made. Imagine that, General Motors product, cheaply made. Okay. So we are looking at the top bulb, which I do believe in this case is going to be this one. And yep, okay, so there's really nothing wrong. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see, let's get you up here a little better where you can see something. I don't know if you guys can see that. This bulb right there on the corner is melted. That's the problem with these GM vehicles, is even the socket gets so hot that it melts. Cheap plastic. Imagine that. So I'm going to go see if I got another one of these bulbs. Be right back with you. Alright guys, I did get another bulb here. Let's see if it comes on. Jackpot. Let's see how it kind of goes in and out. It's a little frustrating. So what you do from there, let me go shut the brake pedal off so we don't kill the band. Okay guys and gals, so once you get that part done, you got to get it back together. So I'm going to try and show you here. All you're going to do is it's just going to snap right back in there. It's also cold out here today, so keep that in mind. You don't want to get too crazy and break anything, because this is an 03 and we don't want to break anything. Alright guys, I'm going to put it back together and be done with this. Well guys, with all that being said, everything looks like it's good to go. So as always, like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when I got a new one up, and we'll just keep on rolling down the road. Okay, we'll check you out later. This is Super Dave signing off.